Hey guys, Mara here. So for today's video, we are going to be tackling an eyeshadow palette declutter. I have over 30 eyeshadow products here that I want to sit down and declutter with you guys. I don't think anyone needs that amount of eyeshadow palettes, and I've accumulated so many over the years that I just need to downsize. So we're going to be going through what I'm going to be keeping. I'm hoping to get rid of a lot. I think there are a lot here that I just don't reach for anymore that are expired. And yeah, we're gonna just jump into decluttering. I just wanted to mention that I will be throwing away products that are super expired and super old, ones that I don't feel comfortable giving to anyone else or passing along. I'll be throwing those ones away, but I am going to be passing along ones that I do feel comfortable giving to others. I have 3 younger sisters who love to get my hand-me-downs, so we're going to be passing on stuff to them and see if they want it. I don't really have anywhere to donate around where I live. I live in a really rural area, but if you guys have recommendations of places to send used makeup, I'd love to donate them to a good cause instead of just throwing things away, especially if they are in good quality. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and dive into the declutter. Okay guys, so here they all are. You can see that I have a ton of eyeshadow products here. Eyeshadow is something that I used to be super into, and I used to love doing like really fancy eyeshadow looks. Not that I was any good, but I just liked playing with eyeshadow, and I don't really get to do that as much anymore. So I feel like a lot of these products are just taking up space and just more wasted, and I enjoy doing more natural looks now that, especially I'm a mom and I'm working full-time. Well, I'm working like part/full-time. I work flex full-time, which is a whole nother story. But yeah, I just don't feel that I need this many, and I feel like there's a lot of good products here that could get good use from other people before they actually expire and can't be used anymore. So we're just going to go ahead and jump in. This first one here that I'm going to pull up is the Urban Decay Naked palette. This palette holds a really special place in my heart because it's the first ever eyeshadow palette that I purchased. This was the eyeshadow palette I bought for my wedding makeup. I did my wedding makeup all on my own. I watched YouTube videos over and over again just to learn different techniques. Kathleenlights is actually the one who sold me on the Naked palette. When you go back and watch some of her old videos, she started her channel by doing tutorials with the Urban Decay Naked palettes. Naked the original, Naked 2, Naked 3, and Naked 1 was always her favorite, so that's why I chose this one when I went shopping for my wedding makeup. And I just don't ever see myself decluttering. I have attachment issues, guys. Like, I look at this. Like, you can see I just don't get rid of anything. So this is one that I'm gonna hold on to for sure, just because it does hold a special place in my heart, and I really do like the shadows. And it's discontinued now, so I can't get this again if I decided that, hey, I regret getting rid of that because I want to pick it up. It might be expired, but I'm still gonna use it on my eyes, whether that's safe or not, I don't know, but I do really like that one. This next palette here is another old one. It's from like the beginning of my YouTube days and just getting into makeup. This was another one that Kathleenlights had recommended, and it's the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. This one's kind of questionable to me because I do really love, I love these 2 shimmers, but I just don't like the formula of Too Faced shadows quite as much anymore. Now that I've dived into other brands, I just don't know. I don't know if I want to keep this one, so I'm going to hold on to that one in like a maybe pile because I don't know if I want to keep it or not because I haven't reached for it in so long. I have other shadows and other palettes that I just like to work with more, and you'll see those as we go through. This next one is from Wet n Wild, and it's the Comfort Zone palette. This is in the old packaging. They have a brand new Comfort Zone palette that has new packaging. I think it might have a couple new shades, and while I do like this and I like the pigmentation, especially for a drugstore palette that's less than $5, I just don't ever reach for this. This crease shade right here, this bronze, is probably my favorite one, but like I said, I don't ever reach for this. So I'm going to pass that along, and I have some other palettes that kind of mimic the same color schemes, which you'll see. This is a Winky Luxe Kitten palette that I got in my BoxyCharm. I never reach for this. I just don't feel inspired when I look at this. And the formulation was okay, but it's not really my favorite, so I've barely used this. I'm going to pass this along. This is the It Cosmetics Naturally Pretty palette, and it is an all matte palette with the exception of this Transforming Pearl shade right here. This one is another one that kind of kills me to just get rid of, but as I look at it, I just don't think I'm ever gonna reach for it. But I like the idea of having an all matte palette. But I've had one on, I've had my eye on one from Milani, and I really like Milani's quality. but I have this one already. I don't know. I'm gonna put this one in another maybe, as another maybe, because I do like the idea of having the all matte option, but am I really gonna search for this or reach for this? I don't think so, because there's mattes that I reach for in other more cohesive palettes. This palette is from Pure Cosmetics, and it's not like the Pure that you think of from Ulta. This is a brand that I got in my BoxyCharm, and it is kind of mimicking the Naked 3 palette. It's a nice rosy tone. It has mostly shimmers in there. I don't ever reach for this. I like rosy tones, but I'm not ever going to reach for something like this that has mainly shimmers. I like more rosy mattes. If I'm going to be honest, I don't really like a rosy shimmer all over my lids, so I'm going to pass that one along. A couple of these little quads. Let me see if I can find. Okay, so I have these little quads and trios from the drugstore. I have 3 Wet n Wilds and 1 Maybelline. I really like this one. This is the newest one. It's the Tartlet. It has those purpley shades, and then I have these other ones. I really like this bronzy shade too from the I'm Getting Sunburned palette from Wet n Wild, and I think this one was limited edition. I think this one was too. Yeah, it says it there. But honestly, I'm never reaching for these, so I'm going to pass those along. Here's a little quad from Makeup Geek I got on clearance at Target. You can see my daughter like dug into this. She is always grabbing my palettes. Like, I turn my back for 2 seconds and she has a hold of a palette somehow, somewhere. She gets one in the bathroom. Like if I'm doing my makeup or anything, she gets into them. I'm going to hold on to this one. I really like the Makeup Geek formula, and this has the foiled shadow grandstand, which I really love. It's kind of a rosy, bronzy shade that is beautiful all over the lids, and the foiled shadows for Makeup Geek are to die for. They are very foiled, and they stay that foiled, they give that foiled effect on the eyelid as well. So I'm going to hold on to this because it does have more of these like rosier toned neutrals, and you can get a whole look out of this, which is kind of what I'm looking for in a palette lately. I want something that I can get a complete look out of with one palette, even like this, that keeps it really simplistic. It just makes it really easy, especially being like a mom on the go. I really like something like this. I can throw it in my purse if I need to, because it's nice and compact and I can take it with me. It's easy to travel with, and I like the Makeup Geek shadows. This one here is the Zodiac Palette by ColourPop and Kathleenlights. I love this. Kathleenlights will always have a special place in my heart because she is the one that inspired my YouTube journey. Like I said, I watched her wedding makeup tutorials and just her regular makeup tutorials to start out, and she's the one that has, I mean, she's been there with me through so many different things in my life, and I just relate to her on such a unique level. So I support her in pretty much everything she does, but I think she does a fantastic job on her collaborations, and this is probably my favorite one in the whole lineup. This is my favorite collab she's done. I love the shade ranges in here. You can get something a little more rosy, you can get something a little more neutral, and then you have some fun pops of color on the bottom. And if I'm going to be honest, ColourPop shadows are my favorite shadow formula at the moment. Just the price range and the quality. The mattes are so blendable. The shimmers stay true, and they are very vibrant on the eyes. And they've even started to get, I haven't tried their pressed glitters and stuff yet, but I'm sure I'm going to be pleasantly surprised with those as well. This next one is the Wet n Wild All Natural palette. This kind of mimics a couple of the other ones that I have in here. It's more of that rosy, shimmery tone, and Wet n Wild shadows, especially the ones in this kind of packaging, like these rectangles. I think you can get these at Walmart. Not my favorite, so I'm gonna pass that along. This is a ColourPop quad. It's the Vacation Mode quad. It was limited edition last year. I'm going to hold on to this because I like how it's a more cool tone quad, and I like the pop of purple here. And like I said before, ColourPop shadows are my favorite. This is the Anastasio Modern Renaissance palette. This got so much hype, and that's why I picked it up, but honestly, you can see I've barely touched this. The 2 shades that I've used the most are the 2 shimmers, and I have a million shimmers in my makeup collection. So I don't really need to hold on to this just for the 2 shades, like a gold and a champagne. Honestly, I have so many other shades that are very similar, so I'm going to pass that along. I think my sisters might really like that. This is one that I really enjoy too. I did a whole tutorial on this on my channel a while back. This is the Peanut Butter and Jelly palette, and while I like the idea of this, and it's kind of along the same lines as the Chocolate Bar palette, I don't love the Too Faced shadow formula anymore. I just don't. I think they're a little bit more stiff, they're not quite as pigmented, and the shimmers just aren't as easy to work with as some of the other more affordable options, so I'm going to pass that along. I have two of these palettes here from Studio Makeup. These are the On The Go eyeshadow palettes, and I got these in a BoxyCharm in 2 separate months. This one is the Warm Up palette, and it is your typical neutrally palette. And then this one is the Cool Down palette, and it's a really pretty taupey, it's a really pretty taupey, cool tone palette, and it has those pops of like rose in there. I'm gonna hold on to the cool tone one just because I just prefer cool tone shadows anymore. I'm kind of over the really warm toned eyeshadow looks, and on me, I don't know, something about a cool tone look, and maybe it's because I have really dark brown eyes. It really just, the cooler tones look a lot better on me in my opinion. I just prefer to work with them. So I'm going to hold on to the cool tone one, and I'm going to pass on the Warm Up palette just because I have so many neutrals. This is the Dose of Colors Baked Brown eyeshadow palette. I bought this on clearance at Ulta a while ago, and I'm passing that along. I never reach for it. This is a Buxom palette that I created at Sephora, and honestly, I never reach for this either. I don't know, Buxom shadows, they're good. They are pigmented, and the shimmers are pretty nice, but this is not a cohesive palette. I don't know what I was thinking when I made this. It's not. I'm never going to reach for these blues. The purple's pretty. It's pretty pigmented, and these mattes, I have a million of those mattes in the same exact shades in other palettes that I reach for more often, so I'm going to pass that along. Two things I'm going to keep are my Curated Z palettes. Maybe I should have kept these for my single eyeshadows when I'm decluttering those, but these are just, they were in my palette section, so I'm just going to talk about them briefly. These are just single shadows from ColourPop and Makeup Geek. They're two of my favorite formulas, so I'm going to hold on to both of those. These are two Bare Mineral quads. I really like the Bare Minerals formula. These are some pretty underrated eyeshadows, if you ask me. I don't really hear a lot of people talking about Bare Minerals eyeshadows. This is one I've had since college. This was my first ever Bare Minerals quad, and I use this every day in college, and I graduated in 2014, so I've been out for 5 years now. This is in the shade The Truth. I hope this is focusing. There it goes. And it's just a really pretty taupey, neutrally palette, so I'm gonna hold on to that one, but I'm gonna pass along this one. This one is in the shade The Soundtrack, and it's just a little bit too warm for me. I'm gonna see if my sister might want that, or maybe even my mom, she might use that one. One palette I have been absolutely loving is the e.l.f. The New Classics. You guys have heard me talk about this in a few of my videos, and this is just a nice all-in-one palette. I can get so many looks out of this. I can get something really soft and feminine. I can get something a little bit more bold. I can get something for every day. I can jazz something up with some of the golds and the downtown, that shimmery black there. And for $14, I mean, e.l.f. has never been one to really impress me with eyeshadows, but this palette has really impressed me. It's been a wonderful experience to work with this palette. For $14, you're getting some really nice quality. I've been super impressed with this. I kind of want to do a video all about this palette, so if you'd be interested in that, then let me know. I'm definitely keeping that one though. This is another one that I've kind of been on the fence about. That's the Revolution, the Emily Edit by Emily Noel here on YouTube, and I love her. She's one of my favorite YouTubers. You should check out her channel if you're into more chill, relaxed makeup videos. Her videos just like soothe me. Like, she has such a relaxing voice, and I just love sitting down if I'm stressed. Watch her videos. She keeps things very chill. This isn't something that I reach for all the time, and I think it's just because of the sheer size of it. Not that to say that the shadows are bad or anything. Do I think they're the best? Do I think they're great quality? I don't think they're the best quality. I think they're good quality. I don't think they're up to par with like ColourPop. But Makeup Revolution, or like Revolution Beauty, is not known for their outstanding quality. I think they have some good products, but they are known for an affordable price. So I'm gonna keep this just because I'm supporting my girl Emily, and maybe I'll play with it a little bit more. It's just not as accessible as some of my other palettes, so I think that's why I just don't reach for it as much. This next palette here is the Nightingale Palette by Pretty Vulgar. This is one that I got in my BoxyCharm, and it is a nice cool tone palette with some bronzy shades in there, but I never reached for this, so I'm going to pass it along while someone else can get some good use out of it. This is the Masquerade Mini Palette by Juvia's Place, and I was super excited about this when I first bought it. Like, I loved that I had the option with the bright colors, and then I had some neutrals down here. But honestly, I never reached for this. I don't know what I was thinking because I never go out using these colors. Like, maybe if I smudge something along my lower lash line, but that's very rare, and I have some eyeliners that I just prefer to use over these shadows, so I'm gonna pass that along. I know my sister had her eye on this, so she'll be really happy to know that I'm gonna pass that along to her. This next one is the Urban Decay Naked Smoky palette. I bought this when it was on sale. I know they were having a big sale on it a while back, and I don't ever reach for this. I'm gonna pass that one along. This one is another ColourPop palette, and it is the Sweet Nothings palette. It's a really pretty plummy with pops of like rose gold and gold in there. It has like those plummy shades, and I'm gonna hold on to that just because I love the ColourPop formula, and I love all my ColourPop shadows, and I like the plummy shades with my brown eyes. This one is the Morphe and Kathleenlights palette. This was a collaboration a few years ago at Christmas time, and I picked it up. It was limited edition, and I'm gonna hold on to it just because I love Kathleen. You've heard my whole spiel about her. This palette here is the Master Palette by Mario. Honestly, I don't really ever use this either. However, I do really like the formula of this palette. I find that the shimmers are super pigmented, and I can't get this anymore, so I'm definitely going to hold on to it. This is the palette I was talking about that kind of mimics the Comfort Zone palette from Wet n Wild. You get a lot of the same tones, the blue, the green, and I don't know, there's something about it. Maybe because it's been put away, I haven't used it quite as much. And when I got this as a gift, my mom got this for me, I kind of had so many palettes going that this one got pushed aside. So I'm going to give this one another try and use it some more because I've heard so many great things about it, and it is limited edition, so I'm going to hold on to that. This is the ColourPop and Kathleenlights Dream Street palette, definitely holding on to this. This one I don't use quite as much as the Zodiac palette, but still a really great ColourPop shadow palette option. This is the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbon palette. Unlike the Chocolate Bar palette, I definitely know I'm getting rid of this one. I don't ever reach for this. I feel bad because my mom got this for me a while ago, but I just have so many palettes, and honestly, I'm not really inspired by anything in here. I never use pink eyeshadow, and I have so many neutrals, as you've seen, that I don't really need that one. This one is one I bought with Ulta points quite a while ago. It's the Urban Decay Full Spectrum palette, and while I like this, like I've mentioned before, I'm never going to use something with so many colors. I just like more neutral things, and while I think it's nice to keep just because, you know, you never know when you're going to want a pop of color, it's just so bulky. This is such a big palette just to like house just for the in case moment, and honestly I haven't touched it in so long. Like, am I really ever gonna go for something like that? And then the last one is the Tarte Tartlet in Bloom palette. This is one that I really enjoy, and while I don't reach for it quite as much as I used to, I still really like this, and I'm going to hold on to it just because it's a really nice neutral option, and I can get complete looks out of it if I want to travel with it or if I need something quick to pull out. This is one that I know is tried and true, and I just feel really secure in using this palette, so I'm going to hold on to that one. These two that I'm on the fence about, I think I'm going to pass the Naturally Pretty palette by It Cosmetics. I don't ever think I'm really going to reach for an all matte palette, not when I have mattes that I really enjoy in my other palettes. And then this Chocolate Bar palette, I'm still on the fence about this one. This one's kind of nostalgic for me, so I think I'm going to hold on to it for now, just because. So here is everything that I'm going to keep. I'm really happy with how much we have knocked down here. I mean, look at the pile back there of all the things I'm getting rid of and then all the things I'm keeping here. I definitely have a bigger pile of what I'm passing along and what I'm keeping, and I think it's gonna help me utilize my makeup items better and more by having a limited selection. So I'm really happy with the outcome. Okay guys, so I really hope you enjoyed the declutter. I'm really happy with how many palettes I've decided to pass along / get rid of. I'm gonna see if my sister's want any of the things that I'm not keeping, and if not, then I'm either going to throw them away or find somewhere to donate them. I'd really like to find somewhere to donate them because I don't want to just throw, I feel like it's really wasteful to just throw things away. So if you have any good places to donate lightly used makeup, like the eyeshadow palettes I've showed you, then please leave those in the comments down below, because I don't know, I just think it would be much better to pass them along than to just pitch them and they end up in a landfill somewhere. So yeah, I'm super happy with what I've kept. I think keeping less is gonna keep me more inspired to do makeup, and I always end up reaching for the same things anyway, so there's no need to clutter up my bathroom or my vanity with things that I don't even use anymore. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and please subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!